Your cat has looked at you like this before. Maybe from across the room, maybe in total silence, and maybe it lasted just long enough to make you wonder if something felt off. Most people brush it off and assume their cat is just being weird, dramatic, or randomly curious. But that stare can mean much more than that. In some moments, your cat may be reacting to a shift in your mood, a change in the room, or something subtle you haven't even noticed yet. And if you treat every stare like it means the same thing, you could miss one of the clearest signals your cat ever gives you. Because not all stares are equal. Some are calm, some are cautious, and some may be your cat's quiet way of saying, "Pay attention. Something isn't normal right now." Not every stare means the same thing, and that's where most owners get this wrong. A soft stare, a tense stare, a slow blink, and a fixed, unblinking look can all mean very different things, depending on the timing, the body posture, and what changed right before it happened. Sometimes your cat is simply watching. Sometimes they're trying to understand something. And sometimes they're reacting before you even realize there's anything to react to. That's why this matters. If you know how to read the difference, that silent look stops feeling random. It becomes a signal. And once you see that clearly, you start understanding your cat on a level most people never do. Part 1. They're reading you before you realize it. Have you ever noticed that your cat seems to stare at you longer on the days when you feel off? Not playful, not relaxed, just still focused, almost like they're studying something in you that no one else can see. That may not be your imagination. Cats are extremely sensitive to changes in body language, facial tension, movement, and tone of voice. So when you walk into a room carrying stress, sadness, or nervous energy, your cat may pick up on it before you say a single word. And that stare can be the first sign. It's not always fear, and it's not always confusion. Sometimes it's your cat pausing to read the shift in your emotional state and decide what to do next. Some cats keep their distance when your energy feels unsettled. Others watch more closely, almost as if they're checking whether you're okay. Think about that for a second. Your cat may be paying attention to your inner state in a way most people never do, but your mood isn't the only thing they may be reacting to. Part 2. They notice what you don't. Sometimes your cat isn't staring at you at all. It only looks that way because you happen to be standing near the thing they noticed first. Cats can hear higher frequencies than humans, detect tiny movements, and pick up subtle changes in the environment long before you do. A faint sound inside the wall, footsteps outside the door, a shadow shifting across the room, even a smell drifting in from another space. What feels like a strange, intense stare to you may actually be your cat locking onto something your senses completely missed. And this is where people often make the mistake of assuming the moment is random. It may not be random at all. Your cat may be reacting to a change before it becomes obvious. That doesn't mean something dramatic is always happening. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's nothing serious. But to your cat, it was important enough to stop, focus, and monitor. And if that stare comes with a still body, wide pupils or ears turning sharply toward one direction, the message may be even more urgent. Because in some cases, your cat isn't just noticing something. They may be telling you they don't feel completely safe. Part 3. Some stares are warnings. Not all stares feel the same, and this is where the difference really starts to matter. A relaxed stare is soft. The eyes may blink slowly, the body is loose, the ears are neutral. But a warning stare looks very different. It's still unblinking and focused in a way that feels almost frozen. If you look closely, you might notice the pupils are wider than usual, the ears slightly pulled back, and the body either low to the ground or held stiff. That combination is important, because your cat isn't just looking anymore, they're assessing. Something in their environment doesn't feel right, and they're deciding how to respond. This could be triggered by a sudden noise, an unfamiliar presence, or even a shift in your own behavior that made them uneasy. And here's where most people get it wrong. They see the stare and assume the cat is being dramatic or distant. But in reality, the cat may be saying, "Something feels off. I'm not comfortable." Ignoring that signal can make your cat more anxious over time, but recognizing it gives you a chance to respond, to soften the environment, and to show your cat that they're safe. And sometimes that moment of tension isn't about the room at all. Sometimes it's about you. Part 4. They know when something's off with you. Cats notice patterns more deeply than most people realize. The way you walk, the speed of your movements, the sound of your breathing, even the energy you carry from room to room can become part of the routine they quietly memorize. So when your cat stares at you in a way that feels unusually focused, they may be reacting to a change in you before you've fully noticed it yourself. Maybe you're moving more slowly. Maybe your voice sounds different. Maybe your scent has changed because of stress, exhaustion medication, or simply a long day that threw your whole rhythm off. To you, nothing seems dramatic. To your cat, the pattern is different, and that difference matters. This is one of the reasons some stares can feel so intense. Your cat may not be judging you. They may be checking on you. They're trying to understand whether this shift is temporary, harmless, or something they need to keep monitoring. And that possibility changes the whole meaning of the moment, because what looks like silent observation may actually be quiet concern. But not every stare carries tension or caution. Sometimes the message is much simpler and much more direct. Part 5. Sometimes they just want your attention. Sometimes the stare has nothing to do with danger, tension, or emotional shifts. Sometimes your cat is being very clear. They want something, and they've learned that staring is one of the fastest ways to get your attention. Food, water, a closed door, a toy under the couch, a litter box that's no longer acceptable by their standards. To you, it may look like a random silent stare. To your cat, it's a direct message that says, "Notice this." Now, and this is where their behavior gets smarter than most people realize. Many cats learn that a fixed look works before they ever need to meow paw at you or create chaos. The stare is often the polite version first, a quiet attempt to pull your focus back to what matters in their world. If you ignore it, the message usually gets louder. That's why context matters so much. If your cat stares, then walks towards something and looks back at you, they're probably not warning you about danger. They're asking you to pay attention. But the deepest kind of stare means something even more personal than that. Part 6. You're their safe place. Sometimes your cat stares at you not because they're confused and not because they want something, but because you are the point they return to when they need to feel secure. In uncertain moments, many cats look toward the person they trust most before they decide how to respond. That stare can be a quiet check-in, a way of asking without words, "Are we okay? Is this safe? Can I relax now?" And if you've ever noticed your cat watching you during a loud noise, a strange moment, or a change in the room that may be exactly what's happening, this is what makes the deepest kind of stare so easy to miss. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks calm, sometimes it looks still, but underneath it, your cat may be using your presence as emotional grounding, not for information, but for reassurance, and that changes everything. Because the next time your cat looks at you like that, you may not be seeing distance at all. You may be seeing trust in its quietest form, a silent way of saying that in a world they don't fully control, you are still the part that feels safe. If your cat has ever stared at you in a way you couldn't quite explain, you're not alone. And the more you understand these quiet signals, the deeper your connection becomes. If this helped you see your cat differently, take a second to like and subscribe so more people can start listening to what their cats have been saying all along. The next time your cat stares at you and the room suddenly feels a little quieter, don't rush to dismiss it as random. Look a little closer. Notice the eyes, the body, the timing, and what changed right before that moment began. Because sometimes your cat is picking up on your mood. Sometimes they're reacting to a sound, a movement, or a shift you haven't noticed yet. Sometimes they want your attention. And sometimes they're looking to you for reassurance before they decide whether everything is okay. What seems like silence may actually be one of the clearest messages your cat knows how to send. And when you learn to read that look, you stop seeing your cat as mysterious or distant. You start seeing them for what they really are: observant, emotionally aware, and far more connected to you than most people ever realize.